guess that's a test of love, though, right? It might be, I don't know.
Rebecca, what are you experiencing as you're listening?
I was just thinking about, though, a second ago, what you said about being in the moment. And like, I wonder if you think we should always do that, even if like a part of us knows that even though it feels good right now, maybe this person or this situation is not going to be good for me in the future. That if like, especially now, like, because right now I know I'm looking for things to make me feel good. Just to get through the afternoon or the day or the week, just something to look forward to or something to just enjoy for even a moment.
Like what, Rebecca?
Well, like, what do you think I'm gonna say?
I know what you're gonna say.
What's his name? What's that guy's name?
Michael? The drummer?
Okay.
Yeah, but you know I'm not the only person that he's seeing. So I have a quarantine buddy, and she's like mad at me because she says when I go and see him, I'm putting her at risk because he has several other people that he's
And
seeing.
yourself.
I know. I also have been going on dates.
You've been what?
Going on dates with other people.
Like virtual dates?
No, virtual.
Can we go back to the question you asked me about staying in the moment?
Yeah?
You've heard me say many times in here that if you spend too much time in the past, you're going to get depressed. And if you spend too much time in the future, you're going to get anxious. And the goal is to try to live in the present. And the present is very, very challenging for everybody. You're still working remotely, right?
Yeah.
And the day is challenging. And you're absolutely right. You need something to look forward to every day.
Yes.
In the absence of connection, even the informal connections that we have with people who live around us. You walk out of the building in the past, and you passed a shopkeeper who was acquainted with you. He said good morning to you. That meant something to you. That's missing now for everybody.
Yeah.
So what other things, aside from the drummer, can you reward yourself with? What else can you do to help yourself know that you matter beyond the job that you do every day?
That feel as good as the drummer?
Well...
That was a sincere question. That was a genuine question. I'm not trying to be funny.
Well, how good does the drummer make you feel?
In the moment, pretty good.
I'm irritated with you.
I can tell.
Because you have a lot to offer. So why are you underselling yourself?
It's been made clear that that is not the kind of relationship we are going to have.
He's a fuck buddy, essentially?
Absolutely. He is my solid booty call, yeah. And honestly, if he wanted to be my boyfriend, I probably wouldn't want to be with him.
Why?
Because he's not my equal.
That sounds like a defense. Is that real? You're saying you actually do crave more.
I do crave more, but not from him.
So just take me with you. What is equal? What does that mean to you?
Someone who's like me, who has, the same, sort of level of ambition and accomplishments and education and is hot and, and yet when I meet somebody who is my equal, they have, for example, like they have all the things on the surface, but like when we're intimate, it's just, there's not that fire. I'd never want to have sex with them. I don't know why. It's never good sex. It's like boring or it's...
Is it that danger thing you were talking about? You've talked about
I don't know if
before?
it's danger or it's just chemistry, but I don't want to marry a dumb drummer.
I get it though.
Damn.
I get what you're saying.
Drummer.
That's rough. That's really
What are you understanding, Manny?
Well, I was told to marry a submissive Latina woman who whatever I said was fucking great and the best. And I tried to date those women and it didn't work out for me but I get like when you're trying to be with a kind of person that you've been told your whole life you need to be with. for me, sexually, like that kind of submissive energy was never anything that I was turned on by, or, you know, I didn't like going to dinner and just monologuing for 40 minutes like my father did, you know, like I wanted to have a different thing. And so I get it. I totally get what you're saying.
What about your ex-husband? What category did he fit into?
My ex-husband was a sociopath, so he was in his own category.
So he must have been hot in the sack.
Yes, very much.
Tell me something, Rebecca. What gets in the way of finding that in this room? I notice it's rare that you talk to the men in this room about your interest in them.
Wait a minute, why
Okay.
are you only looking at the men? Maybe she might also be interested in women.
And maybe she's interested in the women. Absolutely, I stand corrected, Karina.
I honestly think that the women in this room are very, very sexy.
Well, but I'm just aware that you're very responsive when the men talk to you, when they engage you, but it's rare that you initiate things in their direction. You seem to avoid the men in emotional terms. You seem to avoid the men in this.
Emotionally or sexually?
Well, sexual feelings are just one of many feelings that you seem to avoid with the men here.
Well, I consciously avoid them sexually. I'm open to receiving it, but you're right, I don't really give it out.
I would argue that, Doc, she definitely does non-verbally all the time.
Well, again, nonverbal talking in this room is welcomed and part of the process, but we put a premium on putting those things into those gestures into language. So if they could be translated, if those gestures could be translated into words, we'd know a whole lot more about Rebecca and her life with men in the room.
And she makes herself very desirable. I mean, she's a beautiful woman, but I also think she consciously makes herself very appealing to men.
She does that, and she does it very effectively.
Yes.
But again, she doesn't initiate things with men verbally. I'm interested in the verbal experience here.
I mean, I do, Doc, just not in our group.
Oh, well, I'm assuming that the way you operate in here is a microcosm of the way you operate outside of here.
Really?
Always.
You're turning me into a drummer.
You should be so lucky.
You wish, Frank.
No, I'm not her equal. You know, if you actually engaged with Stuart and Manny and me, you'd have to like get off your goddess pedestal and be human. And
Frank, I don't want Rebecca attacked. When you say goddess,
I don't feel attacked. I am a goddess.
you're going to guide us on a pedestal? You want that?
No, but I do think I've let you guys in. I do think you've seen my vulnerability and my fucking craziness, and I've tried to be honest about it.
But that's the whole thing, that we are way too intimate. I mean, it's so clear that she only likes men, like the idea of men. She doesn't actually, she craves intimacy, but she can't do it. And the fact that we're all so intimate with each other makes us very undesirable to her.
Did you feel understood by that, Rebecca?
That's probably very true. Yes. Yeah, that's true.
Pam, I think there's some truth to that. I think that if you can keep us at a distance in here, Manny and Stuart and even Ezra and me, then you can keep that thing going on the outside where you can call this guy who's got rhythm a dumb drummer. He's got rhythm. You know how hard that is to get?
Well, I wasn't saying that all drummers are dumb, but this particular drummer is.
Does it feel, Rebecca, does it feel threatening to have sexual feelings in here?
I feel kind of powerful not to express any sort of sexual anything toward the men, because then I have mystique, and they wonder why I'm not saying anything to them.
Oh.
Stuart, as you're listening to Rebecca, Stuart, what are you experiencing?
Now I'm shaking because we're talking about the group, the men in the group, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that freaks me out.
What does that mean that freaks you out? What feeling is that?
Scared.
What are you scared of?
Well, I want her to actually talk about that, about how she feels about the men in the group, namely myself. But I'm scared that it'll somehow I will have to speak on it, which I'm doing right now.
Oh, should I tell her what you just said?
So Rebecca, okay. Hearing you talk about your experiences with this man who's a booty call, I'm jealous of him, but I'm not to the extent that I just want some physical with you. I want something beyond that. So at times I do feel that, and it comes up, especially it comes up with Tilda as well. So.
So both of us. You have sexual fantasies about us together with you, or
three
separate?
Well, no, all this is weird talking about this because.
No, please.
Not together.
Why not?
Not together.
So you would reject that?
Not saying I would reject that. That just would be a lot of work for me.
Stuart, can I help you out here a little? Stuart,
Yes.
Can I help you a little?
Yeah.
So when you were talking to Rebecca and you suddenly brought Tilda into the picture, do you know what you were feeling when you did that?
Frightened.
Frightened. That would be
Very
a wonderful
frightened.
thing to say to Rebecca. Rather than bringing a third person into the picture to lessen the tension between you and the person you're talking to, Rebecca, it would be very helpful to turn to Rebecca and say, in the moment, I'm talking to you and I'm aware that I'm frightened. If you said that to Rebecca, she's going to get interested in you. She's going to want to know more about you.
I think that's the fear. I don't think she would.
Well, then you bring it about. The very action, the very thing you're afraid of happening, you somehow unwittingly arrange for. So the loop keeps playing. Don't think too much.
I'm just okay. I'm just struggling with the idea of why should I tell her these things?
Well, because in this room, remember, your one of your jobs is to find out about yourself and to find out about your relationships with people.
Yeah.
Sexual feelings are just one among many feelings that you're going to have toward people. So why not be open to discovering everything you can about you and people? In this case, Rebecca.
Yeah, Rebecca, I'm feeling very attracted to you right now. Just hearing you speak, and it's making me want to have to give you a real relationship. I don't know if I could, but it is making me. I feel like you deserve a good relationship. I think you're smart. Of course, you're beautiful, but I just think you have so much going for you that I don't know if a guy can't see that. It's a little aggravating for me just to hear that. So.
May I speak, Doc?